Markets around the world are headed for their worst week since 2008. Coronavirus fears wiping $5 trillion from the value of global shares.
Many Australians are checking their superannuation. Of course, in New York, the Dow Jones has recorded its biggest one-day fall in history, tumbling 4.4% at the open.
After its fall of almost 1,200 points yesterday, it was down another 1,000 points today, but has recovered slightly, but still a significant fall. And it's been going on for 7 days in a row now. Now, we should point out that while yesterday was the biggest points fall on record, we should put out that there is some historical perspective to take into account here, because 2 weeks ago, the Dow was approaching the 30,000 mark. Now it's below 25,000. But if you go back to 2008, it was only around the 10,000 mark. So a 1,000-point fall in 2008 was a 10% fall in one day. We're not quite in that territory yet, but it has been a significant decline of more than 10% over the course of the week. And the reason for it is not just uncertainty, but there has been fears growing across the week about its global spread, particularly the fact that it was now so heavily ensconced in Europe through the spike in Italy. And even though the US isn't particularly badly affected itself, it's only got 15 confirmed cases of COVID-19. The most recent one in California is a bit of a mystery. The woman who got it, they've got no idea where she contracted it from. And if you can't find that, that is a source of some concern, because, of course, you don't know where it has come from, and other people may have been affected as well. Now, Mike Pence has ensured that from now on, all comments about how the coronavirus is affecting the United States, all comments from health officials have got to go through his office first. So they're very concerned to speak with one voice. Donald Trump is really not so much concerned about the virus. Of course he is concerned about that, as the president would be, but he's even more concerned about the markets, because he uses the Dow Jones as really a barometer of how well the economy is doing, because it's been doing very well in the past few months. He's been trumpeting it. Others are now saying that if the economy continues to decline at this rate, that could affect his re-election chances. So that's quite a wake-up call for somebody who thinks that the economy has been booming in recent times.
Economists are warning Australia could soon experience its first recession in nearly 3 decades. The Prime Minister is preparing a targeted response to prevent a possible economic downturn at home. Business reporter Edward Boyd has more on this week's local market.
Australian stocks entered correction territory this week, losing more than 10% in value since February 20's record highs. The market bloodbath has wiped out all of 2020's gains, with the ASX 200 now trading at its lowest level since October. The steep falls in Australia were reflected in global markets. The Dow Jones in New York fell 1,191 points on Thursday, its largest point fall in history. Senior investment advisor Adam Dawes from Shaw & Partners says this global market volatility will continue until a potential cure for the coronavirus is found.
This hasn't finished yet, albeit the US is still continuing to sell off, and they've had a fantastic run. So a pullback like this is somewhat healthy for markets, but I do feel that this hasn't been contained. The markets haven't quantified how long it's going to take for this to happen. But I can guarantee you, as soon as somebody comes up with a potential of a cure, markets will stabilise and will go back up again.
Retail king Gerry Harvey says the virus is yet to affect sales in his network of Australian Harvey Norman stores. He's calling for calm and says the virus doesn't appear to be as bad as expected.
I'm probably more optimistic than what you might think. So then I look at it and I think, well, there's 15 cases or something in Australia of this thing. There's 25 million people here. No one's died. It might be a big problem, but at the moment, it's not as big a problem as it doesn't appear to be that big a problem.
Next week, the Reserve Bank of Australia meets on Tuesday for its interest rates decision. And then on Wednesday, the December GDP numbers will be released by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Edward Boyd, Sky News.